cost of Medicare increases a bit every single January. A lot of you have experienced it, and you notice that the standard premium for 2025 has gone up. Basically, for standard earners in 2025, Medicare Part A, for most people, typically doesn't cost anything because you've paid while working 40 quarters or more in the United States. But Medicare Part B steadily increases every year. And this year, that monthly premium is $185 per person per month. If you're drawing Social Security benefits, that's automatically deducted out of your Social Security check before you even see it. If you're not drawing Social Security benefits, it's typically billed quarterly for you. Now, sometimes Medicare assesses something called high earner taxes, or IRMAA, income-related monthly adjustment amounts, and the thresholds for that change every January, and Medicare is always looking at your income taxes from 2 years prior to determine if you're considered a high earner and will be assessed additional premium. So for this year in 2025, if your 2023 tax return under the modified adjusted gross income line item was $106,000 or less for an individual or $212,000 or less for a joint filing, then you don't pay anything additional for your Medicare Part B. You're just going to pay the standard premium of $185 per person per month. However, if you're an individual and your income was above these thresholds, for instance, the next level up between 106 to 133 for an individual, or between 212 and 266 for a joint filing, you're going to pay an additional $74 for Medicare Part B as in boy. So you add 185 plus 74 for a total of $259. And if you add prescription drug coverage, which you absolutely should, then you're going to pay an income-related adjustment for Part D as well of $13.70 per month. And that Part D IRMAA adjustment happens whether you do Medicare Advantage Part C or a standalone drug coverage. And then depending on how high your income goes, also the IRMAA amounts increase as well. The worst case scenario, or best case, however you look at it, is if you're an individual whose income is above $500,000 in 2023, or a joint filer of above $750,000, you're going to pay the standard premium of $185 plus $443.90 for Part B as in boy IRMAA IRMAA adjustment for a total of $628.90 per month. On top of that, when you join Part D, and again, I recommend that you do, you're going to be paying an extra $85.80 per month for Part D. So it can be substantially more. There's a myth that Medicare is free. It's definitely not. For a lot of you who are retired and your income is below the certain thresholds, $185 is a very reasonable amount. For others, if your income continues to be high, a good problem to have, you could be paying significantly more for your Medicare Part B and even your Part D drug. Now, sometimes people have very low income and they might be eligible for a state program that could help to cover some of the cost of Medicare. So if you think you qualify for that, always let us know at blackpointinsurance.com or ask that question and we can give you that information. But often it goes that other direction and people are left thinking, do I have any recourse? Well, the reality is sometimes people's situations have changed. And what happens is they've maybe had an adjustment in their income from the calendar year that we're currently in as compared to the period that Medicare is looking at in terms of charging that additional premium. And basically what that means is you've had some sort of life-changing event. So they're looking at 2023 in terms of assessing your high earner tax. But since 2023, your life has changed. Maybe you got married, got divorced, a spouse passed away. Most commonly, what we see is people stop working, right? I'm in the retirement business. People retire or reduce their hours, something like this. If this happens, you're not expected to continue paying at that 2023 level. You can file for something called Reconsideration of Premium. The form is SSA 44. You can find it online or we can send it to you. Pretty simple. You have to outline the date of the life-changing event. And essentially you're saying, sure, my income was $300,000 in 2023, but now in 2025, it's projected lower. And I'd like to be reassessed at this new income level. So the first step to this process is having a qualifying event that's happened since 2023 here in 2025. Then how you complete the form is you're going to talk about the tax year for income reductions that have already occurred. You're going to put that information in, you're going to talk about your tax filing, and you're going to put that new AGI. If you have anticipated reductions, for instance, maybe 2024 was still high, but 2025 is anticipated to be lower because this is the year of your retirement, then you're going to fill this information in here and provide that additional documentation. Now, Medicare is going to want to have some sort of evidence that you've had this life change. So maybe you've got a separation agreement with your employer. Maybe you have the sale of a business or divorce decree. You can add this information in and upload it with your application. Also, sometimes you don't have that kind of documentation, so you can outline in a letter that you would write, and you would put in all the relevant information that is outlined the life change. They generally are going to take your word for it. If you have a qualified reason and they can see that it's a true story, they're going to look to reassess you at the current income level. And I see people get approved all the time, sometimes from the highest level all the way down to standard premium. So it's a really big deal and a high value information. Now, it's important to note that Medicare is going to keep re-looking at your income every 2 years. So if you have a life change in the future that involves you increasing your income, that could affect your Medicare premiums 2 years later. So here in 2025, for instance, they're looking at your 2023 modified adjusted gross income. In 2026, it's going to be based on last year, 2024. In 2027, it'll be based on 2025, and so goes the dance. So if you have life changes that increase your income and it's going to increase the amount of money on your tax return, it could adjust what you pay for Medicare in the out years. Medicare is less forgiving of things like capital gains income or investment income. If that gets you over the threshold, they're usually not going to give you an income-related adjustment for that reason. For this and more information, you can always contact us at blackpointinsurance.com. We're here to help you figure all this out and navigate Medicare. Please give us a thumbs up and a like, and be sure to follow us for this and more information. Thanks, everyone.